Stay in the shot. That's better.
You need to turn it towards me.
Go ahead. Go on.
That's better.
Sar.
La Yasha Allah.
Ayasha Allah. Salaki. Sar. Wahakodam, which means to rise and face the east. Remember, like shake it. One second, Salaki. Bear with me 1 second. Yeah. All right. All right. Rise and face east. We're going to start the Lord's Prayer in English. You still read it?
You know, the Hebrew.
I'm just like in the Hebrew.
The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayah. Kodash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakaka. Gaba'ah. Ratazak. Hayah. Aisha. Baratazak. Kawah. Hayah. Hashemayah. Adonlanawa. Makam. Yawam. Wasalakanawa. Kawawafnawa. Kasalaknawa. Kawawafnawa. Wala'ah. Gabayanawa. Banasayawan. Abal. Hawashayanawa. Bayan. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. La'ala. Hatapara.
Aman. In English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
The power in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Ba'ashim Yahushua. Babakashah. Nathanawa. Hakat. La'pa'ah. Kal Marawa. Hakat. Latahar. Amatazariah. Hakat. Hamat. Awakawa. Tama'ala. Garshan. Ba'ashim Yahushua. Wadaman.
In English, Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against the unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
Prayer to bless Israel in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Ba'ashim Yahushua. Barak Lanawa. Wayasha Allah. Waha. Bayaf Sapari. Barak. Magan. Ba'ashim Yahushua. The water Aman.
What we just said was Yahweh in the name of Yahushua. Bless us and Israel in the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones in the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah. Ayanya. Ahahari. Ayan. Yaba'ah. Isari. Ma'an. Yahweh. Aisha. Shemayah. Baharatazah. Al-Yathan. Lamawat. Regalka. Al-Yanawam. Shamarka. Hana. La'ah. Yanawam. Wala'ah. Yayashan. Shawamor. Yasha'Allah. Yahweh. Shamarka. Yahweh. Tazalka. Al-Yad. Yamnika. Yawamam. Hashamash. La'ah, Yakayaka, Wayarah, Malayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makarah, Yashamar, Afnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'aka, Wabu'aka, Wa'ai, Awalam, Aman. In English, I will lift up mine eyes into the hills. I will lift up mine eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh. My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. Which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee. He that keepeth thee. Will not slumber. Will not slumber. Behold. Behold. He that keepeth Israel. He that keepeth Israel. Shall neither slumber nor sleep. Shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day. The sun shall not smite thee by day. Nor the moon by night. Nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee. Yahweh shall preserve thee. From all evil. From all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out. And thy coming in. And thy coming in. From this time forth. From this time forth. And even forevermore. And even forevermore. So be it. So be it. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim. Alahayim. Al-Damayalaka. Al-Damayalaka. Al-Hakarash. Al-Hakarash. Al-Dashakwat. Al-Dashakwat. Al-Kayahana. Kayahana. Al-Yabyaka. Al-Yabyaka. Yahama-Yawan. Yahama-Yawan. Wamashanayaka. Wamashanayaka. Nasha'awa. Nasha'awa. Ra'ash. Ra'ash. Al-Aimaka. Al-Aimaka. Yarayamwa. Yarayamwa. Sawad. Sawad. Wayatayai Tazawad. Wayatayai Tazawad. Al-Tazapawanyaka. Al-Tazapawanyaka. Amrawad. Amrawad. Lakawa. Lakawa. Wanakakinum. Wanakakinum. Magoya. Magoya. Wala'ah, Yazakar, Sham Yashal, Iwad, Kaya, Nawai Tazawad, La, Yakadwa, Aliyaka, Barya, Yakarafwa, Aliyam, Wayashama, Mawaba, Wahagari, Gabal, Waimawan, Waimalak, Palashat, I'm Yashabi, Tazawad, Yamashawad, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zawad, Lebanilawat, Salah, Aisha, Laham, Kamadim, Kasayasara, Kayabim, Banachal, Koyashwan, Nashamad, Ba'ayanda, Hayawa, Deman, Shayathamu, Nadayab, Kaira, Bukazaba, Kalna say a come, Ashar, Rashad, Nawa, Alahaya, Shayathamu, Gagala, Kakwash, Pandiraka, Ka'ash, Tabairi, Aryam, Kam, Basara, Wabasawapaka, Tabahalon, Panyam, Malawan, Shamka, Yahweh, Wayabashwa, Salaki, where were you at? Wayabal. Go ahead. Salaki. Wayabal. Adiyai. Wayakapar. Wayadaiwa. Kaya. Atha. Shamka. Yahweh. Labad. Yawan. Kal. Ratazah. Aman. In the English, Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. Hold not thy peace. And be not still, O Yahweh. And be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. Thine enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee. And they that hate thee. Have lifted up the head. Have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And consulted against thy hidden ones. And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation. And let us cut them off from being a nation. That the name of Israel. That the name of Israel. May be no more in remembrance. May be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom. The tabernacles of Edom. And the Ishmaelites. And the Ishmaelites. Of Moab. Of Moab. And the Hagarenes. And the Hagarenes. Gabal. And Ammon. And Amalek. The Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asa also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah. Do unto them. As unto the Midianites. As to Sisera. As to Jabin. At the brook of Kasam. Which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb. And like Zed. Yea. All their
princes,
as Zabad,
and as Amunah, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded, and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame, and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High, over all the earth. So be it.
The prayer of the power structure.
The prayer of the blessings.
The prayer of the blessings of the power structure in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shah.
Wa Yahweh Shah.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Alahayim.
Wa Alahayim.
Matazabia. Alawak Yahana. Halawakyam. Hasaranyam. Hakatazayanyam. Hakayayalim. Wa Yahweh. Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah. The Wada
Aman in English. Bless you, Yahweh. And Yahweh Shah. And Michael. And the angels. Commanding General Yohanan. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shah. Thank you. So be it. Sar, which means to turn. Yeshabi, which means to be seated. All right, let's be seated and let's go to Genesis, the 14th chapter. Yeah, so you school. And we're in Genesis 14, verse 7.
Yep.
Genesis chapter 14, verse 7.
Genesis chapter 14, verse 7 in the Hebrew. Waya Shabawa, Waya Ba'awa, Al, Ayan, Mashapat, Hawa'a, Wadash, Waya Kawa, Kal, Shaddai, Ha'ai, Malakya, Wagam, Maria, Hayo, Shab, Bakataza. Now you're going to have to help me with that. Bakataza, Tazawa, Bakataza,
Right here.
One.
Bakataza,
Tazawa.
That's Tazan. So that's
Bakataza.
Bakatazan.
Bakatazan. Damar. See what mine be doing. Verse 8. Wayataza, Malad, Saddam, Wamalak, Aymara, Wamalak, Adama, Wamalak, Tazabayayim, Wamalak, Balai, Hawa. What's that? Hayo? No, that's Hawa. Yeah, Hawa. Tazayar. Tazayar. Waya I Rakwa. Athom. Malakama. Ba'aymak. Hashadayim. Verse 9. Kataralai Mar. That's right. Kataralai Mar. Malak. Ayalon. Waka da Ayal. Malak. Gawam. Goyam. Wa Marah. Wa Marapal. Wa Marapal. Malak. Shai. Shanai.
That word is Wa Marapala.
Malak. Shanai. Wa Rayat. Wa Ara Yawak. Wa Aya Rayak. Wa Aya Yawak. Wa Ara Yawak. Malak. Alasar. Araba. I. Malakim. Hakama Shah. When I'm on 10. Wa I Mark. Hashadayim. Ba'ara. Kamar, Waya Nasawa, Malak, Saddam, Wa'ai Marat, Wa'imara, Waya Pawa, Mash, it's like Shema, Wahanasha Arayim, Hara, Nasawa, yeah, Nasawa, Nasawa. Verse 11, Waya Kwakwa, Ka, Rakash, Saddam, Wa'imara, Ka, Aklom, Waya Lakwa. Yeah, Waya Lakwa. Verse 12, Waya Kwakwa, Lawat, Rakashwa. Or is it Rakashawa? Rakashwa. Ban, Akia, Abaram, Wa'alakwa, Waha, Yeshab, Bas Saddam. Almost got the 13.
13, kind of.
Wayaba'a, Hapalayat, Wayagad, La Baron, Ha'aibaria, Wahawa'a, Shikan, Ba'alanya, Mama Ra'a, Maria, Akya, Ashakal, Wa'akya, Ainara, yeah, Ainara, Waham, Ba'alya, Barayat, Abaram. I got it marked in the other one if you want to do it.
This is Genesis chapter 14, verse 7. And they returned and came to En-Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites that dwelt in Hazan Tamar. Verse 8, and there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, the same is Zor. And they joined battle with them in the vow of Siddim. Verse 9, with Shalalamar, the king of Elam, and with Tidal, king of nations, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arak, king of Elasar, 4 kings with 5. Verse 10, and the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. Verse 11, and they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their victuals and went their way. Verse 12, and they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, so Abraham's nephew, right, Lot, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. Verse 13, and there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite. So what's happening right here, just for context? Remember last Sabbath service, last week we read about Abram and Lot, and the way Abraham, which is now, his name is not changed to Abraham yet, his name is still Abram. He and his nephew Lot, they had their employees had a dispute. At this time, the big industry was agriculture. So they had a big farming industry, both Lot and Abraham. And they got it from the Pharaoh of Egypt at the time. Because of course, Abraham lied to the Pharaoh of Egypt, said that Sarah was his sister, not his wife. And because of that, the Most High God was going to deal with the Pharaoh of Egypt. And the Pharaoh of Egypt knew who the Most High God was. He trembled. And he gave Abraham, or Abram, whatever he wanted. He gave him everything. Cows, calves, asses, or donkeys. He gave them land. They gave them everything and said, go your way. Gold, victuals, and said, here, take this. You got servants, manservants, maidservants, go your way. Why? For the fear of the Most High God destroying that Pharaoh. Just like later, when we come out of Egypt, which we'll read about in probably a few more months, or a few more weeks, I should say, because it's coming up fast about the story of the Israelites. That Pharaoh, Ramesses, he did what? Gave us everything on our exodus out of there because of their fear of our God. And because of Abraham's obedience, because of his obedience, his zealous obedience to the Most High God, the Most High God was with Abraham. And so Pharaoh knew this. Pharaoh went to Abraham last week, we read it, he said, why would you lie to me and say this woman is your sister and not your wife, knowing your God is going to unalive me? Why would you do this? So he gave them everything they left. While on their passage to Canaan, I believe, or while on their passage throughout, going throughout Egypt, leaving Egypt, as Abraham, Lot, and their maidservants, manservants, as they take their families out of Egypt, and they're taking these rewards and gifts with them, Lot's servants and Abraham's servants began to fight. Why? Because they were blessed with so much riches, so much land, so much cattle, so much that it was so small for just a few of them they had, which should let you know that was an industry. This isn't some farmer. This isn't some sheep herder like you see in Afghanistan right now. You see some old Arab man with a beard. He's got maybe just him and his sons out there working a few sheep. This was not that. Abraham and Lot had a cattle and farming and agricultural industry. This was an industry. How do I know? Because the Bible says that the reason that their man and maid servants were fighting and arguing was because they were so enclosed together with all this land around them.
Too much.
It was so much they had. They had so much that they were in close proximity with each other. And so they began to fight normally like how Jakes do. You fight and you argue because why? You living at that house with your mom and your brothers and your cousins and your grandma. So what happens? You fight. It happens. You get into an argument. Somebody bumps into you. They use the bathroom when it's your turn to use the bathroom. That's normal. But guess what Abram did? Guess what Abraham did? He had brotherhood. And he went to his nephew Lot and said, brother, you're my son. You're my brother. That's exactly what he said. He said, you're my brother. There's no need for us and our employees, to be arguing and fighting when the Most High God have given us all of this. Why don't if you want to go left, I'll go right. If you want to go right, I'll go left. Abraham had something called brotherhood. He didn't say, oh, you know what? This is mine. I'm the one who gave it to you. He didn't do that. He said, you're my brother. What are we fighting for? We can all win, which is the problem with the economics of this country in America. The problem with capitalism is there's only a couple of winners and everyone else loses. There has to be poor and a permanent underclass in America in order for there to be multi-billionaires. In order for there to be multi-millionaires, in order for there to be Apple and Microsoft and Tesla, there has to be poor. There has to be someone who has to sleep outside, like the brother we saw in the tent on our way here to the Sabbath service this morning. Somebody has to be in tent cities. Someone has to be oppressed in order for the few to win in this country, in this republic, but in the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God. Brotherhood wins, Doc. There's enough for all of us. We don't have to put one man down just for another to succeed. That's not how it works. Brotherhood works. You can go this way with the wealth and the things you have, and I can go this way. It's that simple. And that's the problem with America too. They won't let they don't want the so-called the so-called Mexicans and the brothers and sisters from the south of the border here in America, when America has vast amounts of land that are absolutely empty. And when I say empty, I mean there's nothing there. It's barren land. Barren land. I mean hundreds of millions of acres of barren land between Kansas City and California. Go ahead.
Just on your point, I drive trucks, and Officer Malak drove trucks for a while too. As you traveling driving trucks, I mean, it's desolate in a lot of these places. No one living nowhere. This is land.
That's right.
Miles and miles and miles of land.
That's right.
And people live in tents here, congested in the inner city on the sidewalk.
There you go. That's America. That's not the Bible. That brother Abram said, what? You go your way. If you want to go left, I'll take the right. Which we went over last week, that just shows the immense amount of brotherhood and the love he had for his brother, Lot, which was technically his nephew, but of course, he comes from the same family as you, that's your brother. She comes from the same family as you, that's your sister. That shows you the love we're supposed to have with each other and the love that Abram showed. He said, if you want to go this way, if you want to go to Texas and take all of Texas, I'll take all of this. Whatever you want, whatever you don't want, I'll take. That's brotherhood. And Lot said, Most High Christ, the water up, the water, sir. You know what I mean? I'll take this side. I'll go to Sodom and Gomorrah, which Lot ended up going that way. Abraham took the north. You understand? So now what we're picking up in Genesis chapter 14, verse 13, which we just read, those 7 verses of 7 and 13, we're picking up now where we left off last week of Abraham going his way with his business, his agricultural industry, and Lot going his way with his agricultural industry. And now there was a war that took place between the Elamites and all of those nations that were between the Elamites and South Africa, which is the direction that Lot was going in Sodom and Gomorrah. That region is where he was going, right? So there was a war that broke out. Well, guess what happened because of this war? Lot was taken. Okay, Lot was taken. Abraham's nephew was taken because of this war. All right, so now, go ahead.
And can I say something?
Go ahead, please.
And then to add on what Officer Malak was saying, because what he's bringing out is so heavy. Like blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, like when we have brotherhood, the brotherhood starts with fearing the Most High God. Like when last week you said you went over how Abram at the time, you know, the Bible says when your ways are pleasing to the Lord, even your enemies will be at peace with you.
That's right.
That's how he was able to go in there, and Pharaoh was like, well, damn, why didn't you tell me this was your sister?
God.
And then you fast forward, they have all this wealth.
God.
You understand? They have all this wealth, and they have all these sheep, and they have all these, you know, cows or whatever.
Cows.
You understand? And Abram feared the Most High God. When you fear the Most High God, you don't have to fear your brother.
That's
that
right.
Your brother's going to outdo you.
Right.
That your brother's going to outshine you, or he's going to have more land than you.
You should want it to happen.
You should want it to happen because that's your brother. But when we don't fear the Lord, what do we do out of line?
We envy our brothers.
Look, we want to go start a rap beef and try to get, you know, more people on our side, so we can get more money. We on the shutdown. I'm gonna shut down off of some Malak show, right. So he can't perform and take down his family, to provide for his family.
That's right.
Because I'm envious and jealous, and I don't have brotherhood.
That's right.
When you fear the Lord, you don't have to fear your brother.
Damn right. God.
That's all I wanted to say.
Most High Christ with the brother in hand. All right. Let me finish this up with 13. And there came one that had escaped. So there was a man who was taken captive with Lot, and he escaped, and he went and told Abraham. And told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner. And these were confederate with Abram. All right.
So we're going back to the Hebrew. Genesis chapter 13, verse 14 in the Hebrew. Wayeshamai, Abarom, Kayat, Nashabah, Akiyawa, Wayarak, Hanaya Kayan, Yala Yaladia, Yala Yadia, Bayahwa, Shamana, Aishar, Washalash, Mawa, Wayara, Da, I, Dan. Verse 15, I think.
At that time, that was just a name.
Dan, kind of. Waya Kalak, Al Yahom, Layala, Hayo, na Hawa'a, Wa'ibadiwa, Waya Kum, Wayara, Depam, I, Kawaba, Shar, Masha Ma'al, Ladama Shak. Verse 16. Wayashab Ak Kal Harakash Wagam Ak Lawat Akya Wa Wara Kashwa Hashayab Wagam Ak Hanashayam Hanashiums like it Wa Ha'ain. Verse 17. Wayataza'a Malak Saddam Lakwa Ra'afwa Acharya Shawawa Maha Kawa Kadara Imar Kadara Laimar Wa Hamalakim Ashar Ahwa Al Imak Shawa Hawa Imak Hamalak. Verse 18, Wamalakia, Tazadak, Malak, Shalom, Hawatazayah, Lacham, Wayayan, Wahawa, Kahan, La'al, Ayo, Yawan, Verse 19. Wayabar Hawa, Wayamar, Barawak, Abaron, La.
That's just Abram.
So Abram.
Yeah, that's just Abram.
Where is it at?
Right there, he just read
okay.
Abraham. That's just Abram.
Abram, La'al, Al Yawan, Quanah, Shamyam, Wa Rataza.
Last verse.
Verse 20. Wabar Wak, Al Yawan, Ashar, Magan, Tazarayak, Bayadak, Wayathan, Lawa, Ma'aishar, Makal.
This is Genesis chapter 14, verse 14. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his house 318, and pursued them unto Dan. This place Dan, they were headed to, brother. It didn't say Abraham didn't get it. It didn't say Abram. I'm going to use the name that right here. But just remember, this is speaking about Abraham. His name is later going to be changed to Abraham by the Lord. And Abram at this time, he didn't get on his knees and pray. He didn't go to the king and say, can you pass legislation to free my brother? He didn't do none of that Christian garbage that the church have taught us to do since slavery. Abraham wasn't a slave. He wasn't a slave, and he didn't fear these heathens that took his brother. The only thing that Abram thought about at this time was retrieving his brother from these heathens. That's it. That's it. He was a man. And let this be a lesson to the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. In our communities, the police could easily go and unalive sisters like Sonia Massey because we, as a people, have no man. Our manhood has been stripped away from us. Stripped away from us. There is no other nation that police officers could go into, no other nation or no other community, no other nation's community, where the cops and SWAT and FBI could go, raid, and they could unalive at will those women. There is no nation that does not defend their women. There's no nation that doesn't have a fear where someone else has a fear of harming their people, their women, and their children. The Arabs, you will never see a cop go into an Arab community and unalive an Arab's wife. You won't see it with the Chinese. You won't see it with the Koreans. You won't see it with the so-called Jewish man. You won't see it with white people. There is no other race of people where the people in that community are unsafe and people can go at will and destroy their people. There's no other community like that. You know the reason why our communities are destroyed like that? Of course, the answer is because we don't obey the Most High God, but also because brothers are weak thanks to our oppression. Thanks to our oppression, Salakia. Because we're oppressed, brothers are weak. Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian men are weak because of oppression. Because of sisters who called the police on us to get us thrown out of the goddamn house. We're weak. We've been grinded down into powder thanks to our oppressor. And sisters, unbeknownst to them, they have been the oppressor's lieutenant. They have been the white man's lieutenant on how to oppress black and Hispanic men. That's why so many black women get divorces. Why so many black women call the police on their black husband. Why so many black women, they talk bad about their husband. They use words to verbally abuse their husband. And they tell their children, you ain't nothing like your daddy, or your daddy ain't nothing. That's thanks to our oppressor. And because of that, and because of the conditions we live in, Sonia Massey had she didn't have a protector other than white people, other than a white cop who unalived her. Sandra Bland and give me so many other sisters' names. So many other black women and Hispanic women have been unalived by the police. It's cases that we don't even know about because it doesn't make the news. It happens so often, it's so frequent, we don't know about it. But it happens. And the reason it happens is because brothers have been made weak because of oppression. Do you understand that any other race of people, if Sonia Massey was any other race of people, there would be an uproar in America right now. There would be an organized revolution right now on the streets of every city in America because of one Arab girl killed, unalived. Because of one white woman unalived. You know how many thousands of brothers were strung up from their necks from the false reports of a white woman saying that a black man R-worded them? And villages of black people, communities and cities of black people were destroyed, men, women, and children, because of one white woman. Sonia Massey's unalive, and there has been no uproar. There have been nothing. There hasn't even been protests in the city that she was unalive in by black people. You know why? Because of oppression. And you are talking about voting in 2 months. Voting. Yeah, Abraham didn't vote out. And he didn't get on his knees and start praying to the Lord. You Christians are good at just praying and singing and dancing. Abraham, he is the answer to Lot's prayers. That's what Abraham was. He was the answer to Lot's prayers. He didn't stop praying and saying, Jesus, we're going to pray for Joe Biden. We're going to pray for our leaders. We're going to vote to help us. We're going to go and we're going to do whatever it is to make white people not afraid of us. We're going to do it to free our people. That's what you're going to do to help save your people. You're going to vote to save black people? I don't know if that's what Abraham did. I don't think that's what Nat Turner did. That's not what Denmark Vesey. That's not what Christ did. They didn't go vote and pray to Jesus and pray to God. You know what they did? They trained men. That's what they did. They trained men and they became the answer to their people's prayer. And that's what we have become in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General Yohanan. Right. Go ahead, Elisha. The brother has something he wants to say.
Yeah, please. And Christians, the Christians, they think voting is going to work. And they pray about everything. They pray about everything, man. I'm gonna tell you, Christians,
and something. Sing at every turn and event. They sing and dance.
But those prayers, the answer to your prayers, this is it, you Christians. Listen, the answer to your prayers are your votes.
Yeah.
Think about that. Everything that you go vote for,
that's what you've been praying for.
You've been praying for. Yeah, so right. You know when they go pass laws that lock the sons up for hundreds of years, that's what you ask for. That's because right. The vote is so important. You praying for a savior, and his name is going to be Donald Trump here pretty soon.
Or Kamala Harris.
Both
of them aren't black. They're not
both
from your
of them
community.
Aren't black, and neither one of them are in your favor. You understand? So when these laws get changed, and when you're paying high taxes, and when they're taking your food stamps, that's just what you prayed for.
That's right.
And that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, right. You get what you asked for. Listen. Abraham didn't, and that's the same with Noah. We learned that story a few weeks ago. Noah didn't, when it started to rain, Noah wasn't unprepared. He didn't bow down on his knees and start praying. He didn't vote. You know what he did? He just obeyed the Lord and he armed himself and his sons.
That's right.
To protect them against the coming storm. And that's what we do in the Israelite School of UPK better than anybody else. Better than your pastor, that I know. And that's what we're reading about now. Brother who armed him and his men that were under his command to go and rescue his brother, to defend his brother, to save his brother. Now, what are you going to do? Vote? Come on, man. Come on. This is Genesis chapter 14, verse 15. And he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them, Salakia, and pursued them unto Habah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. Yeah, he didn't protest either, Elisha. Mm-hmm. He didn't misspell signs and go out there and say, no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Vote or die. He didn't do none of that silly garbage, superstitious garbage that does not work if you haven't. This is what's so heavy about life and history. You can learn from history, guys. You don't have to repeat the same mistakes. Who in recent time marched and voted? Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement. They marched and they voted. It did nothing for the black community. It did nothing to the point that you are living the same curses that they lived in the 60s. Sonia Massey was unalived by a white cop. Guess what else you will read that in history in modern time? And in the 60s. The 60s, cops bombed churches with 4 little black girls in it. In Alabama and Mississippi. They bombed schools. They unalived Medgar Evers. White cops killed black people in the 60s when they were voting and marching. White cops kill black children now when we're voting and marching. Clearly, it doesn't work. 60 years have passed, and you still vote and march, and you still get unalived. Abraham knew a better method than voting and marching. I pray you understand that. Let's keep going. Verse 16. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people. They rescued that brother and his family, and his servants, and the men that he had working under him. They went there and got everything that was stolen from Lot, including Lot and his family. They went on a rescue mission. You understand? A rescue mission for this brother. Why? Because it's his brother. Because it was his brother, what does this also tell you about Abraham? That brother was willing to do what? Die. When you go to war, there are two things that you have to be willing to do. You have to be willing to unalive somebody, and you have to be willing to die. And that is a common creed amongst soldiers. That's a common creed amongst special forces, amongst spec ops. That's a common creed. A common mentality is we're going into this country to war, for battle, for combat. There are two things that you have to be willing to do. You have to be willing to unalive somebody, and you also have to be willing to die. See, we get the glory in thinking that everything is just unaliving when you go to combat. People die when they go into combat. I don't know if you knew that or not, but people die. Abraham had the mentality of, I'm going in here to rescue my brother because I love him, because he's my family, he's my brother. And I'm willing to unalive somebody for him, and I'm also willing to die for him. That gets missed in brotherhood. Yes, I'm going to unalive anyone for this brother here. I will unalive anybody from Commander Juliana and the men that serve under him in the Isupk. But guess what else? I'm willing to die for those men too. You can't be a soldier and only be willing to unalive somebody. No, you're not a soldier. You're just a maniac who wants to kill people. You're just Jeffrey Dahmer. You're a serial unaliver. That's not a soldier. A soldier is not only willing to unalive, he's also willing to die. And in the Isupk, we're men willing to die. Men prepared to die. That's what we are in the Isupk, man. We're no cowards. We're no cowards. And Abraham wasn't either. And he was willing to risk his life and to unalive someone's life for the sake of his brother. You can't even put a cigarette or a blunt down for the sake of your baby. You smoke and get high in the house with your children and think voting is going to save you. Come on, man. We're a joke. That's why your sisters die like Sonia Massey at will. And nothing is going to happen to that cop because he's done this before, and he was on his fourth police force, his fourth one. He's done it 3 times before this one. 3 times before this, and nothing's going to happen to him this time. Why? Because you get high. That's why. Because we get high and we vote, and we think that's going to save us, instead of actually arming ourselves with brotherhood, instead of arming ourselves with the laws of God and serving the Most High God. That is what's going to save our people. Not voting, not eating healthy. What are you, on a holistic diet? You're a vegan? You think being vegan is going to save black people? I listened to some nut at my slave who's supposed to be a doctor, and he allegedly is a doctor, I don't know. And he's a holistic doctor, whatever the hell that means. And he's on his podcast talking to these black men, and he's talking about how his grandmother passed away, his mother passed from hypertension, high blood pressure, which we die from. And we're number 1 in. He was correct in that statistic. And he said, and we got, as black people, we got to eat healthy. We got to stop eating all the meat, and we got to stop eating all this processed food. And I'm listening to him thinking, does he think that black people becoming vegan is going to stop the cops from killing Sonia Massey? What if Sonia Massey was a vegan? If Sonia Massey was a vegan, she would have still been alive right now? Is that what you're telling me? How we eat is not the reason why we're dead. That's not the reason. Because you eat ground beef every day, eat a burger, that's not the reason why we have hypertension and high blood pressure. So the reason why we're number 1 in everything that unalives us, including police brutality, is because we don't arm ourselves with brotherhood. Because we don't arm ourselves with the laws of the Most High God the way Abraham did. We don't arm ourselves with obeying God's laws. Because of that, we're number 1 in everything that kills us. And that's the truth about life.
That's right.
Here's the excellency of knowledge. Whether you do believe in medicine or you don't believe in medicine, whether you do believe in good, healthy eating or you don't, without the Most High God on your side, there is no hope in living. And that is the truth about life. Let's keep going. This is Genesis chapter 14, verse 17. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shavah, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High Power. Verse 19, and he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High Power, possessor of heaven and earth. Verse 20, and blessed be the most high power, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand, and he gave tithes of all. This is where tithing comes from, young man. Abram didn't give Melchizedek, just for everyone who knows, Melchizedek is not an angel. He's not, whatever the church tells you. He's not anything the church tells you. He's Jesus Christ, reincarnated. That is who Melchizedek was and is. Everyone understand? Melchizedek was not some angel that just appeared, Doc. This is Christ, Doc. This is who this is speaking about. That is, Melchizedek is Jesus Christ reincarnated. Does everyone understand that? Okay, we got the precepts to prove it and back it up in here. And because Abraham saw this brother who was more powerful and mightier than him, he gave him tithes, which shows you that tithes had nothing to do with fruits and vegetables like fake Israelites say. I don't even know where that came from. Tithes has to do with fruits and vegetables. Tithing, a tenth, ma'ashera, which is Hebrew for a tithe or a tenth, has to do with a 10% of what you earned. It is 10% of what you earn. If you earn $50 per head of ox on your agricultural industry, then you need to give $5 to the priest of God. If you earn $600, $700 from a car business that you own, guess what? You need to give $60, $70 to the priest of the Lord. That's the way it has been, and that's the way it always will be. That is tithing. Tithing is not fruits. It has nothing to do with vegetables. Tithing has to do with a tenth of what you earn. Everyone understand? We just read it right here. It says, so if I could read it one more time. This is verse 20, and I'll give it back to you. This is Genesis chapter 14, verse 20. And blessed be the most high power. This is to break it down, so you can understand where it comes from, the tithe or the tenth. Abraham was so ecstatic of the glory of dominating his enemies to receive his nephew back and his family back, that this brother, Melchizedek, who the Bible just said he was a priest of the Most High, he saw Melchizedek and he said, this brother here, he's something that I am not. Just like when you see us on the corners teaching, you look at us like, man, I've heard crazy stories over the past, Elisha, about brothers in the Isupk. Like crazy in good ways from people in the world. The perception of how people in the world see us. Like in DC, I heard when I was in Hebrew Academy, Officer Nakamiyahu was one of my instructors. Give him a hand. I heard Big Bun Loyal tell us, like, when he was a young man in the truth, people used to bump into him that he knew in the world when he would go out to eat somewhere like, say, Whataburger, Fuddruckers, which was a fast food chain in DC. Say he went to Fuddruckers. And he said people would bump into him like, man, you eat normal food like us? You wear normal clothes like us? Because the perception of people in the world from us is like, man, y'all look like gods. Y'all look like angels. I've heard that, but just recently the sister said, you're an angel out there on 18th and Vine. Because we dress like this, because we obey the Lord, people see us in the world and say, man, you're not one of us. That was the same perception of Abraham to Melchizedek, just so you can understand. And it was that type of thinking and righteousness and zeal that he gave Melchizedek this 10%. He gave him a tithe, ma'ashera, which is 10%. That is literally what tithe is. He said, man, this cat here is not like me. He's not me. This brother here is something special or spectacular. So he gave him a tithe of his earning. Everyone understand? And blessed be the most high power, which had delivered thine enemies into thy hand. He's thanking the Lord, worshiping God, praising the Lord. He's giving the Lord glory and saying, man, most high in Christ, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, for delivering thine enemies into your hand. For me being able to slaughter and unalive the enemies of you, O Most High God. King David had the same prayers, the same type prayers. After he went on wars and missions in combat, he thanked the Most High God for slaughtering the Africans, for slaughtering the Perizzites and the Hittites and the Amorites, for slaughtering Moab, for slaughtering some tribes of Israel for their disobedience to God. Well, this was the same spirit that Abraham had. He thanked the Lord for going on that mission to save his brother Lot. And he gave Melchizedek tithe for it. Tithe for that. That's the kind of character Abraham had. So next time you hear some fake Israelites say something about tithing has to do with fruits and vegetables, that's not in the Bible. And not only is it not in the Bible, tithing is literally 10% of your earned income. That is tithing. And I don't know how more simpler it can get. This story we just read in the Bible of Abraham giving his tithe to Melchizedek, that shows the beginning and the origin of where tithing comes from. That is where it starts. This brother went on this mission, this battle. He's thanking the Most High God. He sees Melchizedek in the middle of the road coming back from this rescue mission, and he's giving his 10% to this brother who is more mightier than him, who clearly serves the Most High. Like when you see us on the corner, you can say, "Man, this brother, he clearly serves the Lord. This brother right here clearly serves God." He gives him this money and says, "Man, here, we got a donation bucket. We keep one right there." So if brothers want to do the same thing, this is where it comes from. If brothers want to do the same thing that Abraham did, they can do it. They can say, "Man, here, I'm dropping this in the donation bucket. There you go. This is my tithe and my donation. There you go. This is my 10% that I owe the Lord." He owed the Lord that 10%. He owed it to the Most High God. Why? Because the Lord allowed him to win that battle that he was just in. He allowed him to be victorious over his enemies. Why wouldn't he bless the Lord? What do you think? Blessing God is your words? Is that what Christians teach out? You think praising and worshiping and blessing the Lord is your words? Nah. A reward is blessing the Lord. It's just like blessing me. How you gonna bless? How you gonna tell me that I thank you? How would you show me your gratitude? Giving me a gift. We do it all the time in the EPK. Brothers gift each other. We gift each other's our ribs, gift each other's our ribs, and we just a bunch of giving, loving people in here. That shows you are thankful for this brother's service or this sister's service. We give sisters flowers and give them roses, give them chocolates, give them gift cards for their service in here. You don't bless the Lord with your words. You don't tell someone, "Oh man, I thank you so much, man, I thank you." Show that brother you are appreciative of him. Show that sister that you are appreciative of her service. Some sisters braiding your hair, locking you down, getting you ready for camp. Show that sister, "Oh, here you go, sis. I thought of you. Thank you for all you do for helping me get ready for camp. Here you go, sis. I got you this. Hey, here you go, brother. I appreciate you helping me get my car on, man." That's how you show someone gratitude. Well, guess what? Tithing is that, brother. That is what you owe to the Lord. Everyone understand?
Kind.
Go ahead, Elisha. You had something you want to say?
Oh, I was just on the point where you was saying like fake Israelites are talking about fruits and vegetables as if like
they get paid in fruits and vegetables.
They get paid in fruits and vegetables, but they not realizing if we selling fruits and vegetables or if we got fruits and vegetables, that's income. That's an increase. It's not. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's fruits and vegetables. That's how we survive. That's how we. What you call it? Agriculture. He knows way more words than I do. But listen, farming makes a bunch of money. I don't know if fake Israelites understand that.
It does.
But the Israelites, that's what we're known for.
Animal husbandry.
You understand? You go, Deuteronomy just broke this down last week?
What's that?
You take the top bull in your in your a steed or in your farm. You take that top bull, and people are willing to pay millions of dollars just to breed with that bull. Just imagine you had to give that to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. That's tithing. Wow. It's all about money. Wow. It's not about just giving fruits and vegetables, which you'll never do no way.
Right.
Money costs. You see how high groceries are today? Groceries are high.
If you niggas got paid in vegetables and fruit, you still wouldn't give.
They wouldn't give nothing. No.
They could have a house full of oranges and wouldn't give one orange to the Lord. He's just selfish. That's all. Go ahead. Most time.
Go ahead. So we going back to the Hebrew.
What he said was true. We're going back to the Hebrew.
This is Genesis chapter 14, verse 21. Wayamar, Malak, Saddam, Al, Ba, Abram, Than, Layah, Hanapash, Waharakash, Kwak, Lak. Verse 22. Wayamar, Abaram, Al, Malak, Saddam, Haraya, Mahya, Yadya, Al, Yahweh, Al Yawan, Qanah, Shamyam, Waratazah. Verse 23. Makawat, Wa'ai, Sharak, Na'al, Wa'am, Akwak, Makar, Ashar, Lak, Wala, sorry, Wala'a, Thamar, Anya, Ha'aisharafia. So like it, Ha'aisharafia. Is that right? Ha'aisharafia. Ha'aisharafia. Abaron, verse 24. Balaidia, Rock, Ashar, Akawa, Hanairium, Wakalak, Ha'anashium, Ashar, Hakawa, Athia, Ainara, Ashakar, Wamamara, Wamamara, Ham, Yaquaqua, Kalak, it's like a Kalakma.
Kalaquam. You talking about the last word?
Yeah, Kalaquam. Yeah, that rolled off way, baby. So like Genesis chapter 15, verse 1. Akar, Hadabarium, Hala, Haya, Dabar, Yahweh, Al, Abaram, Bamachazat, Lamar, Al, Dayara, Abaram, Anakia, Magan, Lak, Shakarat, so Shakaria, Haraba, Ma'ad. Verse 2. Wayamar, Abaram, Adanya, Yahweh, Ma'a, Dathan, Naya, Wa Nakia, Hawala, Ira Yara. It's like it. Ira Yara. Ariaria, Waban, Mashak, Bayathia, Hawa'a, the Mashak, Alia Izar, Aliazar, verse 3, it should be the last verse.
God it is.
Wayamar, Abaram, Han, Laya, La'a, Natatha, yeah, Nathatha, Zerai, Wayahana, Ban, Bayathia, Yawa, Rash, it's like an Athia.
This is Genesis. Go ahead. This is Genesis chapter 14, verse 21. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, give me the persons, and take the goods to thyself. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up mine hand unto the Most High power, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich. Verse 24, save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them take their portion. 15:1, after these things the word of the Most High came unto Abram in a vision, saying, fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. Verse 2, and Abram said, Most High power, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the steward of my house is this Eleazar of Damascus. Verse 3, and Abram said, behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. Most High Christ, this story is getting good, brother. I better all men tune in, subscribe, like, and pay attention, man. Share this, because this is getting good, man. This is Abraham and the Most High, which always amazed me in the Bible, right? It's not magic, but to be able to speak to the Lord, which you're not speaking to the Most High God directly. I know Christians think that, and that's what Christians teach. But when the Bible talks about a man or woman in the Bible conversing with the Lord, they're having a conversation with the angels of God. That is what's going on. So this is Abraham having a conversation with the Lord, telling the Most High God, I go childless, I have no children. Because every man knows having a son or sons is an inheritance unto them. That's what the Bible says. Why is it an inheritance for a father to have sons or a son? because that boy will carry on your lineage, your genealogy, your name, your nation. If you have daughters, your daughters can get married to any brother, and that man's lineage will be carried on through your daughter or through your daughters. But having a son or sons, brother, Elisha will live on forever because you have sons. Now you will live on forever because you have sons. And he will have sons, and he will have sons. Like, it's a beautiful thing to see that, for a man to have sons. The Bible says that. Because now these sons will carry on this lineage. Will carry on. It's the father's job, a man's job. We are a very patriarchal nation, the nation of Israel. We're not mommy. It has nothing to do with women. Lord be with the sisters, of course. We love our women, we love our wives and our sisters, and they have a place, but they're not in charge of our nation. A man is. So when a man has sons, my God, man, that brother will have rulership throughout his lineage forever. That's heaven, just so you know. Heaven is not some place you go when you die. Heaven is when you're on your deathbed and you have raised a beautiful family that is going to rule in your stead. That is heaven, when you can give your inheritance to your son and say, listen, I leave you now, like King David did to King Solomon. I leave you now. I'm going. You're an old 800-year-old man in your bed, and you got all these wives, and you can barely open your eyes, and you see these wives and these children. You see this land and your castle. You see all that you have achieved in your life. You've seen all the good things you've done in your life. You see them right in front of your eyes as an old man. And you get to see your son and his sons and his children's children around you. And you see all these generations. And you see statues of yourself. Like Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson's name is living on forever. Why? Because there are statues named after him. There are cities named after him. Jackson County, Missouri. Jackson is from Andrew Jackson. Washington, that comes from George Washington. They will forever live in this earth. They live forever. It's not Hollywood and vampires and they're 1,000,000 years old. Living forever is having your name live on forever. Your name cannot live on forever if you don't have sons. Abraham knew that. So what did he tell the Lord? Sir, my Lord, I go childless. Baba Kushai, he's pleading with the Lord to give him sons. You understand? Give me children. Why? Because that is how my name is going to live on. That is how Abraham lives on forever. Go ahead, Elisha.
Come.
Back to the Hebrew.
Genesis chapter 15, verse 4, the Hebrew.
Okay, shalom, sis.
Wahana, Debar, Yahweh, Al Yawah, La Amor, La Yaya Rishak, Za, Kaya, Ajar, Yataza, Mama Ayak, Hawa, Yaya Rishak. Verse 5. Waya Wataza, Akwa, Haka Wataza, Waya Amor, Habat, Na'a, Hashemayim. No, that ain't Hashemayim. Hashem Wasapar, Hakawa Kabayim, Bawakal, Lasapar, Athon, Wayamar, Lawa, Ka, Ya, Zarak. Verse 6. You know, I think I started too early. I started at 4, didn't I?
That's where you're supposed to start.
I was supposed to.
I stopped at 3. You started at 4.
Okay. I'm at 6 now.
Yeah, you're going to 10.
Kind of the kind.
4 to 10.
Wahaman, by Yahweh, Waya Kashaba, Lawa, Tazadak. Yeah, Tazadak. Verse 7. Wayamar, Al Yawa, Anya, Yahweh, Ashar, Hawatazaathyak, Ma'awar, Kashadium, Latak, Lak, Rataza, Hazaa, La Rashada. Verse 8. Wayamar, Adanya, Yahweh, Lama, Adai, Kaya, Ayarashna. Verse 9. Wayamar al Yawa, Kwaka, Laya, Aigala, Mashalash, so like Mashalasha, Wa Aiz, Mashalasha, Wa Y'all, Mashalash, Wa Thar, Waga Wazal. Verse 10. Waya Kwak, Lawa, Kal, Allah, Waya Bathar, Athon, Bathawak, Waya Than, Ayash, Batharap, Batharwa, Lakwa, Ra'ath, Ra'aihawa, Wa'ah, Hatazapar, La'ah, Bathar.
This is Genesis chapter 15, verse 4. And behold, the word of the Most High came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. So this brother here, the Most High God is promising Abram a heir, which is a son. And of course, Abraham said before in the previous verse, he said, Of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus? Is that the steward, my servant? Is this my heir to my name? Right? Abraham he's like, he's not my son, so he can't be my heir. Well, the Most High God in verse 4 told him that he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. Meaning what? You're going to have a son. You're going to have sex with a woman, and out of that seed of copulation, like the Bible calls it, you will have a son. That's what's being promised to Abraham right here. All right, because of due to his obedience. Due to his obedience and him paying his tithes on time and being obedient to the Lord. I mean, he's just an obedient servant to the Lord. And the Lord prefers and respects and loves obedience more than anything else. More than your sacrifice, more than you giving money, more than you teaching on the corner somewhere, more than anything else that you can do for the Lord. The Most High God loves and prefers your obedience. Like any good commander of a military structure, your obedience is everything. And because this brother Abram was obedient, he's being promised an heir, being promised a lineage, being promised something that not many people are going to receive in this life. And Abraham is being promised why? For his obedience. Everyone understand? Verse 5. And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. He told Abraham, look up at the stars. Can you number those stars? Of course not. That's how vast your lineage will be. You see those stars? It may not look like it now because you have no children. Imagine having no children, and you're on the sand. On the beach, and the Lord says an angel of God gives a prophet of God to deliver you the message. Hey, brother, you looking at this sand that you got on the beach right now? Yeah, I see all this sand. I don't have no kids, though. I know you don't got no kids, but look at all this sand on the beach. In a little while, this is going to be your lineage. This is going to be your heir. This is going to be what comes out of your bowels. So much that you can't even conceive it or count it. You can't even calculate it. Because it's so vast. That's a blessing, Doc. That's a blessing. Everyone understand? Verse 6, and he believed in the Most High, and he counted it to him for righteousness. Verse 7, and he said unto him, I am the Most High that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it. Verse 8, and he said, Most High power, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? Verse 9, and he said unto him, Take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. Verse 10, and he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another, but the birds divided he not.
Back to the Hebrew, Genesis chapter 15. Verse 11.
Stop it at 17.
Wayarad, Ha'ayat, Al, Haga, it's like it, Hapagarian, Wayashad, Atham, Abram. Verse 12, Wayahaya, Hashamash, Labawa'a, Wathara, Lathar Dama. Now Pala, Al, Abram, Wahana, Ayama, Kashaka, Gadala, is it Gadala? Yeah, Gadala, Napala, Al Yawa. Verse 13, Wayamar, La Abram, Yadai, the die, Kaya, Gar, Ya, Zarak, Barataza, Lahom, Wa'aiba, Gawam, Wa'ainawa, Athom, Arabai, Ma'awat, Shana, verse 14, Wagam, Hagawaya, Ashar, Ya'aiba, Badwa, Dan, Anakia, Wathakaria, Khan, Yatazawa, Barakash, Gadawal, verse 15, Wata, Tabawa, All, Abathyak, Bashalom. Is that right?
Bashalom. Oh, sorry, yeah, Shalom.
Bashalom. Thakwabar. Yaba.
That's what fake Israelites do, read the thing, and they just read it like you would read, like you would read a word and read every letter. That's what they, like how I just did, I zoned out, I was like, oh, Bashalom. But and that's what the fake Israelites do because they don't know their language, they don't know the Hebrew. They read it like an idiot reads English.
Got it.
Like a dyslexic reads English. That's not how you read Hebrew. That says Bashalom. You understand?
Got it.
Keep going.
Tawabah. Verse 16. This last verse. Or 17.
No, you stopped at 17.
Wadawar. Rabba Aya. Yashua Bawa. Hana Kayala.
You see how that brother, that's how I just explained. Shalom to the sister that just checked in. It says Most High Christ. Yashawabwa. You see how it's not Yashawabawa? That's how fake Israelites do Shalom. That's every letter. They pronounce every letter of the Hebrew alphabet. That's not the way you read Hebrew, just like you don't read any other language like that. When you read Hola in Spanish, Elisha, you don't read it Ha-O-L-A-A. That's not how you read anything. There are words that are created from the alphabet. Like this word, what is that word you just read?
Yashawabwa.
Now click on it. Click on that word. And they shall come again. Shawab is return. That's what the word Shawab means. Okay, return or again. That is what the word Shawab means. And it says Yashawabwa. This is speaking about a people. That's what that Yah in front of it is. Everyone understand? There's a Hebrew language here. You're not amateurs. Okay, we teach Hebrew language class every Friday. And brothers and sisters should check in, especially for Israelites, so you can learn how to really speak the Hebrew and not just give it your silly or your child's input. You're reading Hebrew like a child reads English. You're reading Hebrew the way a child would say, you see that word Arthur? They wouldn't say Arthur, they would say Arthur. That's how a child would read when they first learn how to read. You fake Israelites read the Hebrew like that. It's not how Hebrew is read. You read it like you read anything else. There are alphabets that create words in every language. Latin, Greek, English, Spanish, French, Italian, German, Russian, Hebrew, it's the same thing. Shalom is the letters that make up shalom. Everyone understand? All right, so keep going, Elisha. I just wanted to highlight that as an example of what I was just talking about. Okay, so Yahshua, Shawah means return.
Yahshua, Hana, Kayala, Shalom, Iwan, Maria, Hana. 17.
Come on, that's your last verse.
Wahaya, Hashamash, Ba'a, Wa'ayalata, Haya, Wahana, Ganawar, Aishan, Walapayad, Ashor, Ibar, Bayan, Hagazarium, Ha'ala.
This is Genesis chapter 15, and we're at 11. Verse 11. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. Verse 12. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. Verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Verse 14. And also that nation whom thou shalt serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. Verse 15. Now, this is to prove everyone's point. When people say, the Lord knows what's going to happen before it happens. You know how the Most High God knows what's going to happen before it happens? Because he knows you. He knows blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That's a hard concept to understand. You think the Lord knows everything that's going to happen before it happens, like Hollywood, which is not fantasy, is not magic. Remember, the Bible is very practical. So every time you read the Bible, read it with a practical mind, with a practical sense. Don't think of Hollywood when you read the Bible. Don't think of talking anacondas and snakes that talk. Think about practicality, because that is what the Bible is, practical. The Most High God is prophesying to Abraham, like we do on the corners all across this world and all across this God-forsaken country called America. We in the Israelite School of VPK are priests and prophets, and we prophesy the destruction that's going to come. How do we know that COVID-19 was going to happen? Remember, Commander Giuliani prophesied of COVID-19 happening. He prophesied, the Isupk back in the 90s prophesied 9/11 happening. How do we know? Of course, because we read the Bible, because we know people. We see how disgusting you are. You can't give up pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. You're getting COVID-19. I don't know how hard that is I don't have to be a prophet to know that. I can be the common fool and know that if you continue to have sex with women unprotected, you're going to catch an immune deficiency disorder. Do I have to be a doctor to know that? The Lord knows that Abraham's children were going to be rebellious enough for him to punish them, the same way I know that if you don't stop having sex with whores unprotected, you're going to catch an immune deficiency disorder. And I'm not God, and I'm not a doctor, and I didn't go to college, but I know that. Why? Because I'm not an idiot, and you are. That's why you have sex with women unprotected, because you think life is a game and a joke, and you need men to teach you it's not. You need God to show you it's not. And we're going to warn you that you better stop doing what you're doing. Everyone understand? That's life, Ak. That's life. Do we know the future in Isupk? Hell yes. And it's not philosophy, and we don't have to guess. We know it to be true. Why? Because we obey God the way Abraham did. And so we know, brother, if you don't stop getting high, you know what's going to happen, don't you? You're going to go to jail. You're going to get unalived. If you don't stop having sex with that man's woman, what's going to happen? I already had to say what's going to happen. Tell me what's going to happen. If you don't stop having sex, if you don't stop being Mr. Steal Your Girl like R&B singers, what is going to happen to him, Elisha?
He's definitely going to be unalived at one point.
We're not magicians. We don't have some cauldron of spells that we're looking into the future. You're going to die if you don't stop having sex with other men's wives. You're going to die if you don't put down the pork. You're going to die if you don't stop voting. You're going to die. It's not magic. It's practical. It's common sense almost. Everyone understand? Well, that's the way the Most High God knew what? That his children, Abraham's children, will go into captivity. And he knew, well, I'm going to have to save them. I'm going to have to rescue them. And I'm going to destroy that nation that puts them in slavery. Why? Because the Lord knows you. Just like you can't put down weed now, knowing how destructive it's been to your community. He knew then you would have the same hard head. Because the families that came before Abraham, like Noah's sons and sons back during Adam's time, the Adamites. I mean, come on now. Come on. Who are you fooling? You don't have to go to some, what do they call them, Mark? The people who read the future. You don't have to go to some fortune teller. Tarot card reader. I can tell you your future now. You're going to go to jail or you're going to die. I'm just trying to help them out, Elisha. You didn't have to pay me no money to tell me your future. You're going to die having sex with other men's wives. That's your future. You're going to be on someone's shirt and they're going to say, long live Key. That's going to be you. You, as a black woman, what's going to happen to you? You are going to have a daughter who gets molested because you keep jumping from man to man. So your daughter is bound to be sexually assaulted. It's bound to happen. I'm not a fortune tarot card reader, Elisha, but I know you, and I know you like to jump from man to man, black woman. So what's going to happen to you? You're going to get an immune deficiency disorder from some man who's half a homosexual, and he's going to touch your son and daughter. You keep going to that church, you know what's going to happen? You're going to get an immune deficiency disorder, and your children and you are going to be violated by that pastor. I'm just telling you what the truth is. I don't have to be a fortune teller, Elisha. I know your future. Why? Because you disobey God. That's simple. Everyone understand. Verse 16. So like verse 15. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. Verse 16. But in their fourth generation they shall come hither again. For the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Verse 17. And it shall come to pass that when the sun went dark, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. All
right. Genesis chapter 15, verse 18.
What's the last verse on there? Verse 21. Okay, go ahead. You talk.
By Awam, Hahawa'a, Karath, Yahweh, Abaram, Baryah, Lamar, Lazarah, Ike, Nathahya, Ratazah, Hazah, Manahar, Matazarian, Hanahar, Hagadal, Nahar, Parath. Verse 19. Hakwa Yanya, Wa'af, Hakwa Nazaya, Wa'af, Hakwa Hakwa Damania, Hakwa Damania.
You start with verse 3.
Verse 20. Wa'af, Hakya, Wa'af, Hapar Ziyah, Wa'af, Hapar Ayam, Haparium. Verse 21. Wa'af, Ha'amaria, Wa'af, Hakananya, Wa'af, Hagar Gashya, Wa'af, Hayaba Wasya. Genesis chapter 16, verse 1. Washaria, Ashah, Abaron, La'ah, Yalada, Lawa, Wala, Shapaka, Matazariah, Washema, Hagar. Verse 2. Wathamar, Sharia, Abaron, Hana, Na'ah, Itazariah, Zanya. So like Itazar, Naya, Yahweh, Malada, Ba'a, Na'al, Al, Shapakathya, Awalaya, Abana, Mamana, Wayeshamai, Abarom, Lakwa Wall, Sharia, verse 3. Last verse. Wakakwak, Sharia, Ashat, Abarom, Hagar, Hamatazariah, Shapakatha, Makwataza, Aishar, Shanyam, Lashabah, Abarom, Barataza, Kanaim, Wakathan, Atha, Abarom, Ayesha, Lawa, La Sha.
This is Genesis chapter 15. Let's see, verse 18. In the same day, the Most High made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates, the Kenites and the Kenizzites and the Canaanites, verse 20, and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rephaims, verse 21, and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Girgashites and the Jebusites, chapter 16, verse 1. Oh, so like I read that wrong. Let me go back. Verse 20, and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rephaims and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Girgashites and the Jebusites. This is Genesis chapter 16, verse 1. Now Sarah, Abraham's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. Verse 2. And Sarah said unto Abram, behold now, the Most High hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. Ooh, wait, this is a hardcore sister, Sarah, Sharai in the Hebrew. She had a handmaid. Remember, I told you, Abraham had a big agricultural business. He had handmaids and he had manservants. They had servants. This is a man with wealth.
Workers.
Yeah, this in the world, Christians think the lowest of brothers in the Bible. My God, that's how you know they're black. Because the world thinks of them so low. You think he's just some goat herder like Osama bin Laden over there. Guess what? Osama bin Laden had billions of dollars. Saddam Hussein had a country in his control. Billions. These aren't some sheep herders and goat herders. Get that out your mind. This was a man with a business. A man with a business, with a family, with a rib, with servants. Okay? This Sarah, his rib, she went to him, to Abraham, and said, what? My maid servant, Hagar, this is an Egyptian woman, a heathen. Maybe this young woman can give you a child, because I can't. Okay, this is Sarah. This is how Sarah's thinking. Like, I can't give my husband a child. I'm old. I'm an old woman. Old women don't have babies. So I have this young Egyptian girl, and she is a woman that can have babies. She's young, which means she can have children. So she went to her husband and said, behold now, the Most High hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid, have sex with my handmaid. Ooh wee, Salakia. You brothers better get out dope. I want the kingdom of heaven now. Salakia. Well, hardcore sisters want you to have multiple wives. Now, brother, your wife is going to hate you and leave you, possibly for having another woman, and talk bad about you to her mother because you simply have sex with beautiful women. Well, guess what? In the ISUPK, we're not oppressed by women. We have sex with multiple wives. We got beautiful, bad sisters on our team. Everyone understand that. Yeah, we're not purple sodomites that don't have that have sex with men. We have sex with beautiful women that are married to boys, that can have babies. I pray you understand. And we just top fried they tell. And this is Sarah telling her husband, I can't give you a child, so go in unto my maidservant Hagar. Verse 3. So and Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarah. He listened to his wife. Why? Because of how hardcore she was. This is not a man that is happy wife, happy life. That wasn't Abraham. He's not ruled by Sarah, but he does listen to her. Why? Because he trusts her. And that's a beautiful thing for a man to be able to trust his wife. For a man to know what my wife is telling me is true. I believe her because she's not a stupid woman. She's not an easily beguiled woman. She has character. She has smarts. She has enough wisdom that a woman could obtain, and she's not silly and led by her emotion. So I'm going to listen to my wife. Why? Because she is an outstanding sister. That was Sarah. And because she was a submissive, hardcore wife that listened to her husband and obeyed God, her husband in return listened to her. And that's how that works, black woman. You think that you're going to get your husband to listen to you, and you what? Call the cops on him? Do you think that's going to get your husband to listen to you? That is going to do the opposite. He's going to want to leave you. You cannot control your husband with being masculine, with being overbearing and being a stupid bitch. You can't be a stupid bitch and have a husband that listens to you. You're going to have to be a sweet, kind, loving, submissive woman like Sarah was, and then maybe your husband will actually take into account what you tell him. Then he's going to say, well, I know my wife, she's not a stupid woman, so she's not going to tell me anything. What she tells me is true. So I'm going to actually give her my ear and listen to what she has to say. And that's better than most brothers get to experience. Some brothers is like, man, I don't know what. Some brothers just tune their woman out when they start talking like, oh man, she's talking again. She's talking about something stupid. She's talking about some celebrity that she worships on social media when she should be going to school to be a goddamn pediatric neurosurgeon. Here she is, could have been an OBGYN, knowing black women die the most at childbirth, Hispanic women die the most during childbirth, and she's a stupid idiot listening to Beyonce. She's following Beyonce tours like it was the goddamn Super Bowl. Like it's the Olympics. She's following celebrities and gossiping to other women in the school, and you listen to her. That wasn't Sarah. That wasn't Sarah at all. Sarah was the opposite. She obeyed her husband as if he was Jesus Christ. That garners the attention of a man. I'm just being straight up and honest with you, sis. Being a soft, loving woman. And it don't help that she bad too. She was bad too, Isupk. This is verse 3. And Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband, Abram, to be his wife. That was in verse 3 is where you stop, right? Verse 3. Okay. Verse 3. Yeah, this is the last section. Most High Christ. Yeah, this brother here, Abram, he tied fire to that Hagar. And you understand, he did his thing. That's what the Bible just said. I'm just giving it to you raw like we do in the UPK. We street brothers. We brothers on the streets and from the city and from the inner cities. We know how we talk. And listen, he had sex with that woman Hagar. He had sex with her. And the Bible just said he dwelt with them 10 years. 10 years. Now remember, Hagar was an Egyptian, which made her a heathen, which didn't make her a woman that descended from. Hagar wasn't bone of Abram's bone and flesh of Abram's flesh. I'll put it to you like that. For biblical context, Hagar wasn't his rib. Hagar wasn't Sarah. Sarah was from Abraham's family. Hagar was not. Keep going. I mean, read what you got on this.
This is Genesis chapter 16, verse 4 in the Hebrew. Wayaba'ah, Hagar, what the hara, salaki, what the ra, kaya, harata, what the qual, gaba rata, ba'ai yanya. No, it's ba'ai yanaya.
Ba'ai yanya.
Ba'ai yanya. Verse 5.
You said you stopped at 10.
Start at the con. What the Amar, Sharia, all, Abaron, Kamasya, Aoyat, Anakya, Nathakya, Shapakafya, Bakaya, Bakaya Kwak.
By a quack. So Bakaya Kwak.
Bakaya Kwak. Watara, Kaya, Hara, Qual, Ba'ai Yanya, Yashapat, Yahweh, Bayanya, Wabayanyak. Verse 6. Wayamar, Abaron, all, Sharia, Hana, Shapakatak, Bayadak, Aishya, La, Hatawab, Ba'ai Yanyak, Watha Aina, Sharya, Watha Barak, Mapa Naya. Verse 7. Wayamatazah, Mala'ah, Yahweh, Al, Ayan, Hamayam, Bamada, Bar, Al, Ha'ayan, what's that? Barak, Shawar. Verse 8. Wayamar, Hagar, Shapakah, Sharya, Ayah, Mazah, Ba'ah, Wa'ana, Dalakya, Wathamar, Mapanya, Sharya, Gabar, Anakya, Barakat. Verse 9. Wayamar, La, Mala'at, Yahweh, Mawabia, Al, Gabar, Tak, Waha, the Anya, Taka, Yadiya. Verse 10. Wayamar, La, Mala'ak, Mala'ak, Salaki, Yahweh, Harabah, Zara'ik, Wala'ah, Yasapar, Marab.
This is Genesis chapter 16 and verse 4. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. Verse 5. And Sarah said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee. Just like a woman. She's like, dang, my husband is in there trying to find this woman. Damn, I didn't know he was actually going to have sex with her. That's Eve. Right?
She seen that baby though.
Yeah, that's Eve.
She seen that baby.
She's like, man, she got pregnant from the front. She really got pregnant from, yeah, sis, she just told her husband to go tie fire to this tail. Don't do something. Don't tell somebody something you don't really want to happen. That's a woman. Sarah was still a woman. She was noble, like an Esther or Yahweh. They were noble sisters, but she's a woman nonetheless. You understand? She's still gonna get a little jealous, and she's still gonna feel a little like, dang, this woman over here, she getting all my husband's love, all that ride he's supposed to be giving just me. It happens. It happens. You understand? It ain't no sweat. It's normal. It's normal for you not to want your husband to have sex with other women. That's normal. But you're gonna see she wasn't. Her life wasn't her man being with other women. You're a high school woman still. You're still in middle school fighting over boys. She wasn't fighting over no man. She just is like, man, this woman here, he's been with this woman, and now they about to have this child. You understand? This may not be what the Lord wants. You understand? But her life wasn't consumed with her man having another wife. Don't get it twisted with your wife. Your wife is consumed with you being with other women. And that's a stupid woman. A woman that's going to be concerned with you having sex with other women when she wasn't your first wife. Which always blows my mind, Elisha. You weren't his first choice. He's had other women before you. And now what do you get mad because he had sex with women after you? You're silly. You're a silly, unwise woman. Sarah wasn't that. But she was a woman nonetheless. Everyone understands. Go ahead, Elisha.
And Salaki, sir, if I may, Sarah, she did it to, first off, to please her husband.
And to give him an heir.
And to give him an heir. And it shows like how much women appreciated children, having children back then.
Right.
You understand? Like a lot of these sisters today, they, some sisters are working on their 5th, 6th abortion. You know what I'm saying? 7, 8, 9, 10 abortions. So
don't take care of the kids they have.
Don't take care of the kids that they have.
I don't know, somebody, if I may, like these women now, I don't know if you know, they need all the breaks in the world.
Oh yeah.
They mommy and their grandmother raises their children. Their aunts and uncles raise their kids while they go out and party to the friends, neighbors. They're terrible mothers out. And that's the point he's making. You're a terrible mother now. You're a horrible mother who should never have children. A or who should be sterilized from the age that you have your first period, because God knows you're going to be a terrible, stupid bitch of a woman and a terrible, horrible mother that's going to kill her kids from your neglect. You're going to unalive your children spiritually and physically from your neglect of your children. You sisters are terrible mothers today. All these men worshiping you being a single mother. You're a terrible mother. You left every man you were ever with. You're a horrible woman. You're a terrible mother. You're a loser. You're a loser is what you are. Isn't that what you told black men for years? There ain't no good black men. These men are terrible. They're losers. They're not six-figure men. You're a stupid woman who is clamorous, knoweth nothing, and you're a horrible mother who doesn't even raise her children.
That's right.
You're horrible. You're going to give that child to some stranger and let the stranger molest them. Let the stranger unalive them. You're going to neglect that child, come home, and the child is going to be dead. That recently happened. Some Issakarite sister, some sister from the tribe of Issachar, maybe from the tribe of Ephraim, a Mexican or a Spanish-speaking woman. This woman, this sister, left her child for 8 days in the house by herself. The baby's a year old, so she can go party in Miami. She came home, and to her surprise, the baby was dead. You're a stupid woman, and you're a terrible mother. And no one should praise you until you get your act together in the Isupk under Commander General Yankee.
That's right.
So like you, Elijah, go ahead.
No, what he said was that. And women who have that train of thought, you definitely don't get that culture from the culture that's in the Bible.
That's right.
Like this sister Sarah, she wanted kids.
That's
you know what I'm saying? She wanted her husband. She wanted to please her husband, so his name could live forever. You understand? Our sisters, what they call it today, baby fever.
Dead seats. They dead.
Well, I'm saying Sarah had, not these dots, so like, not these.
Yeah, whores.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm trying to keep it PG.
Whores. Yeah. They don't value a man. So then when you don't have a man and the cops come and unalive you like Sonia Massey, you're going to be wondering, well, all the black men to protect me, you left them all. You didn't want a man. You called the cops on your man. You put your man on child support. You didn't want a man. So when you have to call the cops to now save your life, he's going to unalive you. Why? Because you get what you asked for. That's life. You didn't want a man, so now you don't get protection from a man. What the hell are you doing leaving your man? Don't you know you're going to die without a man in these last days? Well, guess what, sis? You're a stupid woman. And Sarah was not. She didn't want her husband to leave so much and value his manhood. She gave him a woman. She gave him a woman, Salaki. Oh, Most High Christ. She gave him a woman to have sex with because she valued her husband. And that's what the brother is bringing out. The brother is saying something so heavy. It's how life has changed from then to now. You know what happened? Integration happened. Before integration, sisters loved having a man in the house. The brother couldn't get a job. But guess what? That sister knew, I need a man in this house. I need a man. You sisters, listen to the music from then and now. Sisters wanting a man, pleading to her man, I love you, don't go. Like Toni Braxton and some other female artists from back in the day that pleaded back in the 60s and 70s. Betty Wright, the cleanup woman. Sisters, it was a song, I forget the name of this group that was just singing a song I was listening to from the 70s. And she has a monologue at the beginning of the song, Elisha, and the monologue is like, you gotta leave that man. He don't take care of you. He don't even have a job. And she said, no, I need my man. That's the spirit that sisters are supposed to be in. That's the spirit this brother, this officer is talking about that Sarah had and that sisters had then. It was common. Why? Because they weren't stupid. They knew without a man I die. You, because of America, you think that America is your husband. Okay. You're going to end up like Sonia Massey, believing that garbage. Go ahead, Elisha. That's a lot.
Oh, and that was it. That's my
Most High Christ. Damn right. Verse 6. And Sarah said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Most High judged between me and thee. Verse 6. But Abram said unto Sarah, behold. Oh, the brother put the note under there? Okay, no sweat, brother. We'll get in a second, no sweat. Okay. But Abram said unto Sarah, behold, thy maid is in thy hand. do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarah dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. Verse 7, and the angel of the Most High found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to Shur. Verse 8, and he said, Hagar, Sarah's maid, whence comest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarah. Verse 9, and the angel of the Most High said unto her, return to thy mistress and submit thyself under her hands. Verse 10, and the angel of the Most High said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. Give the Lord a hand. I mean, the Lord is fair. Here you are thinking that we're a hate group, and the God we serve blessed the children of Ishmael, because that is who Hagar was the mother of. Just for future reference, Hagar was carrying a bastard named Ishmael, the so-called Arabs today. And just like the Arabs, the Ishmaelites, there's a lot of them too, just like there's a lot of Israelites. And that's because of the promise that the Lord gave to Hagar. Because the Lord, he pitied Hagar. You know, the Lord is merciful. He can pity you. He can have mercy on you. He's a God that's not a rock or a stone like the Christians' God or the Muslims' God. Our God is a living God who can bless you, who can take things away from you, who can have pity on you. And he saw how Sarah was talking to this heathen woman, Hagar, which is not right. Just because this woman is a heathen and you're upset that she's having your husband's baby, that don't mean you talk bad to her, Sarah. And the Lord saw that, and he said, go back. He sent the angel and said, go back to Sarah and submit to her. She is your mistress. That's what the word will be. She's your mistress. Go back and submit to your mistress. And guess what? The Lord is going to give you a nation that you cannot count. That was Hagar's blessing. That was Hagar's reward for carrying Abraham's baby. Remember, the only reason the Lord is doing this is why? Because her man at that time was Abraham. And Abraham had such a great reputation with the Most High. I think whatever woman Abraham could have sex with, the Lord was going to bless her. Why? Because of the strength of Abraham.
He wasn't going nowhere.
Huh?
What I mean, he wasn't going nowhere, meaning it was no heathen woman would be able to turn Abraham against the Most High.
Oh yeah, God. That's Abraham. That's to let you know that you can have the same favor with the Lord, and you can be blessed by the Most High. Our people could be the same way. All we have to do is obey the Lord in righteousness. That's all Abraham did. Abraham simply obeyed the Most High God in righteousness, and guess what happened? And he had brotherhood for his people. And guess what happened? The Lord blessed everything Abraham did. We could be the same way. All it takes is you to be obedient to the Most High God. All it takes is for us to have righteousness for our people and be obedient in righteousness, and we could achieve the same thing and the same reputation that Abraham had. With that, I imagine just us up here and the phone light shot. Don't pick that up. No. Sar.
La Yasha'Allah.
La Yasha'Allah. Sar. Alright, Majim, everyone stand. Alright, upon your knuckle down, which means to rise and face the east. Got it? Most High Christ. Alright, we're going to read the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew.
The Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayah, Kodash, Ayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malaka, Taba'ah, Ratazah, Ayah, Aisha, Ratazah, Kawa, Ayah, Shemayah, Dalanawa, Makam, Ka, Yawam, Wasalak Lanawa, Kawawat Yanawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kawawat Yanawa, Wala'ah, Tabayah Nawa, Vanasayawam, Kawashaya Nawa, Ayan, Rai,
In English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
Hakak, the power in the Hebrew, Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushua. Babakoshah. The thunder now. Hakak. La'apa'ah. Ka'makala. Ka'marawa. Hakak. La'tahor. Matazariah. Hakak. Hakak. Abakawa. Tama'ala. Garsham. Ba'ashem Yahushua. The water Aman. In English, Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. Prayer to bless Israel in the Hebrew, Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushua. Barak Yasha'ala. Yahsapar. Barak. Magan. Ba'ashem Yahushua. Wada Aman. What we just said was Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua. Bless us and Israel in the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones in the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Ahahari, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Izari, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemaiah, Wa'aratazah, Al-Yathan, Amawat, Al-Yanawam, Shamar, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yasham, Shamamar, Yasha'ala, Shamar, Yahweh, Tazal, Yamyaka, Yamamam, Hashemash, La'ah, Yakai, Layala, Yashamar, Kalra, Yashamar, Afnapashta, Yashamar, Taza'at, Aman. In English, I will lift up mine eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh. Which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in. From this time forth and even forevermore. So be it. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, Al-Namayalaka, Al-Fakarash, Al-Shakwat, Kayahana, Abuyabika, Yahamayawan, Mashanai, Nasha'awa, Ash, Al-Amika, Yarayama, Sawa, Wayatayai Tazawa, Al-Tazap Pawanyaka, Amrawa, Lakawa, Magoya, Wala'ah, Yazakor, Sham Yashal, Aywa, Nawai Tazawa, Hadu, Warya, Yakaraf, Adawam, Wayashamaali, Mawaba, Mahagari, the ball, Mamalak, Palashat, I'm Yeshabi, Tazawu, Gamashawu, Nalawat, Imam, Iowa, Zorawad, the Banyalawat, Salah, Aisha, Laham, Kasayasara, Kayabi, Yashwan, Bayanda, Iowa, Daman, Shayatham, Nadiyabu, Kaira, Wakazaba, Call to say a come, Ashar, Amawa, Nayarashah, Nawa, Na'awa, Alahaya, Shayatham, Kagawa, Kwash, upon your Rakah, Wakalahaba, Aryam, Gan, Basa'ara, Wabasawapak, Tabahalam, Panyahom, Balawan, Shemka, Yahweh, Yabashua, Ayah, Kapar, Abad, Kayah, Atha, Shemka, Yahweh, Labad, Yawan, Ratazah,
Aman in English. Keep not thou silent, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
Thine enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee.
And they that hate
have
thee.
lifted up the head.
Have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel
They
against
have
thy
taken
people.
crafty counsel against thy people.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
Consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
Come,
and let us cut them off from being a nation. That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, the Baal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asa also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah. Do unto them. As unto the Midianites. As to Sisera. As to Jabin. At the brook of Kishon. Which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a red. And like Zed. Yea. All their princes. As Zabad. And as Amunah. Who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. Oh my power. Make them like a wheel. As the stubble before the wind. As the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded, and trouble forever. Yea, let them be put to shame, and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. So be it. The prayer to bless the power structure in the Hebrews. The prayer of the blessings of the power structure in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh. Wa Yahweh Shah. Wa Mayaka'ala. Wa Alahayim. Matazabia. Alawap Yahana. Asaranya. Makatazayanya. Makayayawi. Wa Wakian. Yahweh. Wa Shem Yahweh Shah. Wada Aman in English. Bless you, Yahweh. And Yahweh Shah. And Michael. And the angels. Commanding General Yahweh. The generals. The captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah. Thank you. So be it. Sar, which means to turn. Men of Israel, gird up thy loins, or Salakia. Well, you have to blow the horn, I'll hold the scroll, and then you blow the horn. You got it. Yep, go ahead. All right. 2 out. Take time. Got it? Yeah. All right. Men of Israel, gird up thy loins and prepare to salute the Torah. Sar. There you go. 2 out now. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Brak Yah. Sar. All right. Men of Israel, Salakia sisters, Yeshavi, which means to be seated. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, Abad Shabbat, Abad Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Brakatham, Yajamatah, sisters, Yeshavi, which means to stand. Sar, face the sisters. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Abad Shabbat, Abad Barak, Yahweh Shema Ladam Shem Yahweh Shah. Yajamatah, dismissed.